And so today I want to talk to you about Wikicat. Now, this cryptocurrency is one that I've had my eyes on just because I've had a dream about this cryptocurrency. And even though the dream that I had about this particular this project, rather, I'm just going to call it a project. Even though the dream I had about this project wasn't as detailed, but in the project, it was in the dream, rather, I could sense that it was something good because I saw a picture in the dream and I think I understand what that picture means. So I've had my eyes on this particular project and I strongly believe that this project is a vessel for financial inclusion that the Lord is using in this time and in this season. So I thought I'd just bring this to your attention. And there's a lot of things that I've noticed about this project. Now, I've been following this project. I've read the white paper. I've been following the Twitter feeds, following them on different places, just watching from the sidelines, looking at everything. And I can, just from my own personal research, and, I advise you to do your own due diligence about this project. But just from my own personal research, I can see that it's a very, very honest project. I think the people around it have been operating with integrity and transparency. I looked at the tokenomics and how things have been done. It just shows you that the person who is in charge of this, or the developers in charge of this project, they are building with a blueprint, if I can put it that way. They're building with a blueprint in mind. And so I strongly believe that the hand of the Lord is upon this project. And I know and I believe that this project is going to be a vessel for financial inclusion. And God is going to use this particular project to bless a lot of believers in the African continent. Now that I've talked about financial inclusion and I've also given you an example of, a vessel that the Lord is using in this season, I also want you to understand that there's a reason behind all these things. A lot of people might just look at this thing as a project, as a cryptocurrency, and just say, you know what, this is a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm just going to invest in this, and once the money comes, I'm going to take it away. But we need to understand that with everything with God, there's always a bigger plan. There's a small picture, but there's always a big picture. Now, the small picture might just look like, God is using this to bless people in the African continent. God is about to bring financial inclusion, but you always need to ask why. Why is God doing all these things? Why is God doing all these things? And one of the things that the Lord was sharing with me, I did a video about this, but I didn't post it. And I think I'm going to post it after this one. But one of the things what the Lord was sharing with me is that the Lord is building out a network of empowered believers around the world. And the way the Lord shared it with me is something like a content delivery network. If you know what a CDN is, a CDN is a type of service that big companies use to sort of make their services travel faster or travel efficiently. So, for instance, if you are Netflix and you've got your database or your movie server in the United States, if somebody in China wanted to request a movie, sending that movie from the United States to China, over bandwidth is just going to take a lot of time. So the easiest way to do that is to put another Netflix server in China, so that if a user in China wants to watch a movie, rather than that movie traveling all the way from the United States to China, the server in China would just serve the movie to that user in China. So that's how the Lord put it to me. So the Lord is building out a network of empowered believers, financially empowered believers that are going to be instrumental in the coming days. They are going to be instrumental. And so this is this Wikicat project, I strongly believe, is one of the tools that God is going to use to empower believers, especially in Africa, financially, because the believers in Africa are going to play a very important role in the last days. And they need to be empowered financially and really fast. So there's not a lot of time. There's no time to spend on this empowerment. So there's going to be a quick empowerment work, because God needs to bring a lot of people online. God needs to bring a lot of people up very, very quick financially, just because of the days that we're entering, because we're coming into some really dark times. So God is about to bless people. And I strongly believe that this Wikicat project is a vessel of financial inclusion. Now, one of the things that I've noticed about this Wikicat project is that when you go to all their different channels, like Twitter, CoinMarketCap, and all these things, you'll find out that it's mostly Africans that are talking about it. You won't hear any top YouTuber or any top, influencer talking about it. And I was wondering why that was the case. But I'm now getting an understanding that it is by design. This project is actually by Africans for Africans. So even the reach of the project has been limited, I strongly believe, by God himself, has limited the reach so that there are some ears that are not hearing this thing at all. There's some people that, they just look at it and they pass it by. And that is by design, because this target audience for this particular vessel and this particular transfer is for, the believers in Africa. Now, there might be other tools that the Lord is using to bless the believers in the United States. There might be other tools that the Lord is using to bless believers anywhere. But this particular project, I strongly believe that God is using it to empower his children in the continent of Africa, and especially, some particular countries. So, it's something that we need to pay attention to. I strongly believe that the hand of the Lord is upon this project. I believe that, the believers in Africa need to be empowered financially, because they are going to be instrumental. As a matter of fact, one thing you will not even believe, in the coming days and even in the coming years, there will be, believers in Africa will be sending aid to the United States. If you're spiritually inclined and you understand what is about to happen, because the United States is about to go through a lot of economic turmoil, downtimes, financial darkness. So empowerment, of the believers in Africa is really important for the spreading of the word of God in the last days. So this is a tool. So if you're someone that the Lord has spoken to regarding this particular project, I just want you to understand that there's a bigger picture. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is not something you just come in and buy and then go buy a Lambo or go buy a house or things like that. It is stewardship. It is empowerment. God is empowering you for something. Joseph told his brother that the Lord sent him ahead, to preserve them, against this time. So there's a lot of things that the Lord is doing with this particular vessel in front of you. So this Wikicat project is a vessel. It is a tool of financial inclusion, that God is going to use in this season. So I just thought I'd bring this to your attention. There's so many to say about this, but I just wanted to give context, because when I received this word, I didn't even attach it to Wikicat at all. The Lord just told me about financial inclusion, and he said that there is a need for vessel, that he needs people to have vessels, because of the rain that is about to come. So when the next rain comes, and I've told you to, if you exchange rain for crypto bull market, exchange rain. So the next rain, which, is going to be a crypto bull market, due to this availability of this vessel, a lot of believers in Africa will now be able to participate in that rain. So this is the reason, the Lord says that he makes his rain to fall both on the just and the unjust. So, but for a long time, a lot of people did not have vessel to receive the rain. And remember, the Lord is faithful, because the rain is going to fall on everybody. It's all about your vessel. What can you bring to capture the rain that is falling? So now, by the reason of this project, Wikicat, a lot of believers in Africa now have a vessel that they can use to receive from the Lord. And I hope this makes sense to you guys. I just thought I'd bring my own perspective to this conversation. I've had this for a while now. I'm very, very careful about talking about cryptocurrencies, but I strongly believe that, this now is the right time to speak about this and to bring more understanding, because a lot of people might just be looking at it as a get rich quick scheme, but it's a bigger plan. The Lord is building out a network of believers, of stewards, people that he can call upon, in times of, when there is a need. And he can call upon those people and say, send this to the United States, send this to Korea, send this to North Korea, do this here, do this there. But you need to be empowered. So that is why the Lord is bringing about doing these things in this time. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Remember, none of these things that I'm saying is financial advice. I'm not advising you to buy this. I'm just giving you my understanding about this. So do your own due diligence. And if you are led, then you can, go ahead with it. But, if you like videos like this, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.